PGA European Tour is brought to you by Volvo.
Welcome to Eurosport's coverage of the final round live of the Portuguese Open. Situated, the course is 15 kilometres southwest of Lisbon. One of Europe's finest cities, certainly one of its most beautiful cities. And there's exactly where we are. Close to the coast, obviously. The 40th Portuguese Open this is, at the Aroeira golf course. Quite a short course, 6,055 metres, only par 71. But those pine trees come into play, playing pinball with your ball from errant tee shots, trust me. Lots of water around too. No fairway bunkers though, interestingly. Claes Eriksson led the way on day one with a tremendous opening score of 63, but Wayne Riley was right behind him. Ricky Willison, who struggled for quite a few seasons but playing better this season, in touch. Jose Caceres then putting in a challenge, the Argentinian. Claes Eriksson dropping away, and a lot of Swedes on the leaderboard after 36 holes. And after 54, Wayne Riley, the Australian, the former wild colonial boy, now the mild colonial boy. He's calmed down a bit ahead of Carlson. And there is Wayne Riley, and he's played tremendously well so far in this tournament. 12 under par. Radar Riley, he's known for his accuracy, and that's the scene here this morning. A thunderstorm hit the course. The worst winter in living memory in Portugal, and it seems to have continued. But the green staff have done tremendous work this morning with the rubber roller, squeegeeing the water away and praying for the sun to come out. There was quite a delay this morning, but Water Hog did its work well. And the sun did come out. And that's more like Portuguese weather. Beautiful scenes of Lisbon. And the players may get a chance to experience that tonight with their checks. Big ones, they hope. And a reminder of the situation of the course. Only the second tournament this season to be played actually in Europe, with the extended European Tour this season, beginning this time in Singapore, moving to Australia, then to South Africa. And at last we've hit European terrain. Pollen's been a problem in the first 3 days of this tournament, and that hasn't helped Jamie Spence, I can tell you, because he suffers quite badly from hay fever and asthma, so the inhaler has been used quite a bit by him. Defending champion is Adam Hunter, who beat Darren Clark in a playoff last year. And former winners of this tournament include Eric Brown, who won the very first Portuguese Open way back in 1953, and Peter Ellis. The sights and sounds that greeted the golfers when they awoke in their hotel rooms this morning. And there were fears for quite a while that we wouldn't get any play at all in this final round, which would have been a major disappointment. Bad weather has threatened several tournaments already this season in Europe. 2 have already been shortened, of course, to 54 and 36 holes. Sven Struver and Paul Eales winning the shortened tournaments. And of course it means extra work for the PGA Tour officials. Still waiting for the start here. That's Andy McPhee, the tournament director. It'll be a shotgun start. And there's the blue skies they hoped for, as we look at live pictures now from the Aroeira golf course in Portugal. You can just hear the sounds of players loosening up on the practice ground there. But at least there's a bit of action now. It's Barry Lane. Just hitting a few final loosening shots. Reaching the turn in 32 today, 4 under par for his round. But at the top of the leaderboard, it's still Wayne Riley, 2 shots clear of Ollie Carlson of Sweden. Martin Gates up there as well, 10 under par. And it really should be between those 3 players for this title. Jose Caceres having a good tournament. Mark Davis, he's won the Austrian Open twice, on the leaderboard too. Jose Rivero, whose career seeing a bit of a revival in recent years. Miles Tunnicliffe, bit of an unknown young player from England, in contention too. And Barry Lane, the first man to make any real impact on the leaderboard this morning. 4 under after 9 holes. There's the tournament leader, Wayne Riley. 65, 67, 69, 201, 12 under par for the 33-year-old, the former Australian Open champion. Very good friend of an old colleague of mine, David Fearty. He played in the same school team together, would you believe? And they're big chums. But Riley saying that Fearty at times talks a lot of cobblers. That was a quote earlier in the week. Some of comments by David Fearty on the state of the course. Well, he seems to have taken to it pretty well. He actually had a 7-shot lead yesterday in the 3rd round. He was out in 32, but then double bogeyed the 10th to bring himself back to the pack slightly. Was most impressive last season in the Scottish Open, I thought, which he won, of course, at Carnoustie. He was playing with Nick Faldo in the final round, but refused to be intimidated by the reputation of the man, and quite wisely he played the course and hardly looked at Faldo once the whole way round. He's playing today with Martin Gates and Ole Carlson, and at last we have some play on the course. Claes Eriksson it is on the 2nd hole. Some very tough pin positions out here today, especially on the back 9. These greens receiving vast criticism from almost all of the players in the first 4 days, but to be fair to the organisers and the green staff here, the weather this winter has been dreadful. That's the sort of stuff you've got to stay out of on this course. It isn't very long, but the trees, the major hazard. A lot of dog legs too. Pedro Linhart, the man who changed his name from Peter to Pedro to sound a bit more Spanish. Just hoiked that one slightly left. Not a bad shot. Good distance, right club. Wispy clouds now. Not bad conditions. A bit of a breeze has come up though with the thunderstorm this morning. Because of the delay, the leaders are not yet on the course, so this tournament will finish probably quite close to dark. Reasonable crowds this week. Englishman Frank Pennick designing this course, as I mentioned earlier on. There's Barry Lane. Had a fine season last season, and he's made the real impact this morning. Out in 32, 4 birdies in a row to finish the front 9. The back 9 here is slightly tougher, so it's wise to make your score in the front 9. Greg Chalmers from Australia, and he's pushed that one a little bit into the bunker. No fairway bunkers here, plenty around the greens though. Difficulty off the tee provided by the narrowness of the fairways and the number of dog legs. Raymond Russell, new boy on tour, and he's made a fine start as well. Nice soft greens of course now, so the players can fire the ball right at the stick. 4 birdies in the first 6 holes. Another Scotsman with real potential. Wayne Riley still on the practice ground. Des Smith is the only one of the leaders, certainly in the top few groups, who's actually on the course. He's 5 under par, Des Smith. Jay Townsend from America. Jean Van de Velde, the former French amateur champion, 4 under par. But those players really looking as if they're playing for the minor placings today. Ricky Willison, 3 under after 4. So Miles Tunnicliffe begins his round. Miles, 66-67 his last 2 rounds. Started with a 75 from Leamington Spa, and not the start he wanted. I think that's managed to gather itself in a little shrub at the base of one of those trees. 25-year-old on tour in 1994 for the first time. And here's Des Smith, the Irishman, the Irish match play champion he is. That wasn't a tour event. He won that at the course he designed, Sea Point, at the end of last season. Slight Irishness about that swing, but it's very effective nevertheless. Joachim Hagman, the Swedish Ryder Cup player, first Swede to play in the Ryder Cup. And the Hagman and Tunnicliffe just proving exactly the difficulty here. So many trees and so little fairway. A little bit of water in front of the first tee that would turn my legs to jelly, but doesn't affect the top pros. And it is narrow. A lot of dog legs on this course. The first is not one of them. It's normally a par 5, the first. And for this event, the first year the tournament's been played on this course, it's 469 yards, par 4. We'll be back live in a couple of minutes. Des Smith, one of the converts to the broom handle putter. He's made a good start. Birdie at the first. That would have been an eagle if he'd been playing the members course. Miguel Angel Jimenez. Oh, that green didn't look too bumpy though. Right in the middle from him, from the Spaniard. Weather conditions have improved immeasurably in the last hour and a half here. An experienced man is Des Smith now. Another birdie putt for him. Checking those leaders to remind you still to go out here because of the heavy rain this morning. So Des Smith, who's 7 tour wins to his credit. His 23rd season on tour, would you believe? And looking for a birdie start. A little bit bumpy, a little bit slow, of course, now too. Despite the efforts of the green staff to get the water off the greens, it will slow them down. Smith staying at 5 under after 2 holes of the delayed final round. Portuguese Open, live on Eurosport. Wayne Riley hoping to cling to that 2-shot lead. Won the Scottish Open last year, his first win in 11 seasons on the European Tour. And a much improved player since he decided to calm down his act. And there's some wild stories I can tell you about him. Might get to tell you about a couple of them as well later on. Claes Eriksson. Be a lot of shots today from the trees, I think. And he's missed the green right. Well, he's avoided the bunker. Might have been better off in the sand there. He's left with a tricky enough shot across the sand. Very flashily dressed today as Claes. Had a very good start to this tournament, but has faded a little bit from the opening round of 63. And that's the Swedish leaderboard. Carlson the best of them so far. That just shows you the quality of Swedish golf, doesn't it? And so many of them in the field today, and that without some of their better players too. So the final round coming to you live from the Arrow Era Golf Club in Portugal. 6,661 yards long it is. Jean Van de Velde, the Frenchman, and a birdie putt at the second hole. 438 yards long it is. Well, the putt's going in early on for these players. Maybe the rain and those big squeegee rollers have actually flattened out the bumps a little bit. Jose Rivero, an eternal practice swinger like Jose Maria Olazabal. Seems to be a Spanish trait. Seve does it as well. Well, these new space age woods. That's a good shot from Rivero. It's all carry today now. Such is the saturated nature of the course. Mark Davis. 2 Austrian Opens to his credit so far as a professional. He's 7 under par, Mark Davis. Just wiping the water from his bubble burner. The Swedish Ryder Cup player, Hagman. Another player off that first tee to find trouble in the tall pines. I'm not sure if he had a straight shot at the green there. It's unlikely. Probably had to try and cut that one just a little bit. It's a very, very long first hole here. 469 yards, and the conditions making it all the longer. No roll on the ball really worth talking about. Looks like Jose Caceres, the Argentinian, who has been on tour now 7 consecutive weeks. He's looking forward to getting home, he says, to some beef. I presume that's Argentinian beef and not British. Pedro Linhard on the 4th, a par 3. 178 yards long with water short right, as you can see. A fairly narrow green. Pin at the 4th today. 12 from front, 6 in from the right. So the water coming into play if you go for the flag. Yeah, you see not much pace on those greens at all. minutes. So Linhart will have that for a par 3. Pedro Linhart, the Spaniard. Jamie Spence. For a birdie. Oh, beautiful putt. And that did hit a little bump just short of the hole. He was sure it was in, Jamie. David Carter hits his opening drive, and that's a fine tee shot. Good position down the left-hand side. Born in Johannesburg, David Carter. Won the 1994 qualifying school by 5 shots. He's playing with Caceres and Mark Davis today. The penultimate 3-ball. Jose Eusebio Caceres. Wonder who his father's favourite footballer was. Now, I'll guarantee you that wasn't too far offline, but he's found the rough. It's very, very tight, this course. In fact, Roland Rafferty in the first round didn't use his driver at all. 3-wood all the way. The Brentwood-born Mark Davis, 31 years of age now. Just pushing it slightly down the right-hand side. '81st on the money list last season was Mark. A car crash last season didn't help him. Missed a dozen cuts. Miguel Jimenez hitting his tee shot at the 4th to the safe part of the green. He'll have learned a lot from the early, well, we should have done. Not learning that this green is slow, to say the least. So Hagman, trouble off the tee. Let's find the green with a second shot. And now it's Jose Rivero. And that's a tremendous lag putt from Jose Rivero. 41 years of age now. Jose's been around for a long time. His 20th European campaign. Two Ryder Cup winning teams he's playing on. Here's Des Smith. That rather individual style. And the breeze is really starting to get up here. You are protected to a certain amount by the trees on this course. Sometimes the trees make it even more difficult to judge a shot, because once the ball gets high in the air, the wind takes over above the tree line, and down at ground level the players don't feel it that much. So much inhalation of nicotine in the first tee. Riley a little bit healthier, and he's in the lead by 2 shots from Ole Carlson and Martin Gates, just about to start their final round here in the Portuguese Open, live on Eurosport. Welcome back to the final round of the Portuguese Open. Des Smith just played a canny little chip at the 3rd hole, having birdied the 1st, parred the 2nd, so a solid start from Des. Martin Gates on the first tee. The final grouping, Riley, Gates and Carlson, about to go out. 3 hours has been the delay here this morning because of the thunderstorm, and what a thunderstorm it was. Hagman Another one of the players who addresses the ball with his driver just above the ground. But that is a big hook, and you may have just heard a little ding there, which was the sound of metal wood on tee box. I know the noise well. He should have waited before he exercised at mild temper, because that came back off one of the pine trees. Second hole here. That tree left foreground doesn't come into play for these players. Probably would do for you and I. But one of the many dog legs here at the Arrow Era course. Short course, tight course, placement essential. And that's what's left. Once you find the dog leg, plenty of room, bunkers well back from the edge of the green. And today, the pin is a little bit further back than that. 21 on, 6 from the left. Caceres at the first hole, playing in the penultimate 3 ball. Now, it didn't look like a very good contact, didn't sound like a good contact, and a bit of a half fluff, pushed right, bit low. Not be too happy with that. Here's Van de Velde, the Frenchman. Oh! He looks to the heavens, and I don't blame him. In flushing pink today, Jean Van de Velde. 74, 65, 70 his scores in the first 3 rounds. Second in his home nation Open last season. Now, Des Smith used to be one of the best short putters on tour, with the orthodox putter that was, but he lost it completely, as so many players have done as age creeps on. And now he's a member of the Broomhandle Club. Yeah. Just because you use a Broomhill doesn't mean you're always going to hold those putts, of course. Ole Carlson on the first tee. Yeah, I think we can work out what he was saying there and what had bothered him. And the ball landing very close to one of those dreaded cameras the players hate so much. Martin Gates, 68, 70, 65. Great round yesterday. 10 under par. '87th on the money list last season. Good rhythm there. Warm applause and a fine opening tee shot. A confidence-building opener. Right, at last, here's the tournament leader, Wayne Riley. Hasn't played this hole that well, though. He's 2 over for this hole in 3 rounds, 12 under overall. So he hasn't made a score here. I don't think he's too happy. Well, you see, an awful lot of poor opening tee shots at this course on this final round. And Riley heading down the line, his ball took straight into the trees. Another chance to see what went wrong here. That was a good full shoulder turn. But the result was a hook. A gentle hook, if a gentle hook is possible. 12 under par, Riley's at the moment. Could drop a shot here, though, on the first hole. Carlson and Gates. Carlson's in the trees as well. Gates, the only one to find the fairway, and every player in the final round is now out in the course. David Carter, a man viewed to have tremendous potential, joined 6th place. The Englishman, born in Johannesburg though, but based in England. But really, it's hard to look beyond the first half dozen players there in terms of who's going to win this Portuguese Open title today. So here's Hagman, one of the players with very much an outside chance. Needs a 63 or 64 today for one of the players at around the 6 under par mark, and that's a cracking shot from Hagman. Like a series, he played that rather squirty second shot at the first. And a difficult bunker shot to play. The sand, you could hear it there. It's very, very wet, sodden in fact. And it's very hard to judge shots out of that consistency of sand. Round 4. We thought we weren't going to have a round 4 this morning, as the rain hammered on the clubhouse windows. Here, 15 kilometres southwest of Lisbon. Wayne Riley, leader by 2, has hooked his opening tee shot. Fair breeze blowing now here. It was still earlier, even though it rained heavily. And there you see exactly the problems that Riley has. Thousands and thousands of pine trees on this 900-acre estate. Now, it looks like he's got a shot there okay. The one advantage with these trees is that they are quite well spaced, so if you land in amongst them, there's a fair chance you'll have a shot back. Carter. Oh, beautifully played. That's a tremendous bunker shot. And really, it's like playing a shot off a beach just after the tide's gone out. Riley's problem here looks like a restricted backswing. That's what's in front of him. A low running draw through the gap is what is needed here. And there is a way through. And he seems to have a reasonably uninhibited backswing here. Try and shape a draw. And it's well set up for it. And he's played that very well indeed. That's an excellent shot from Riley. Well, it's better than excellent. That really is superb from that position. He'll be a bit happier now. Van de Velde. Tee shot to the par 3 4th hole. And like most of the players so far, hitting the ball left into the fat part of the green. Ola Carlsson's turn now to play from the left side of the fairway. He managed to avoid the trees, though the cameraman did not avoid his wrath. '68, '69, '66 his start, and he's played a fine second shot as well. '51st on the money list last season, over £114,000 for Carlsson. And now Martin Gates, 10 under par. Learned his golf at the Royal Jersey Club. 4 birdies in the last 5 holes yesterday to put himself into contention. perfect position, right in the centre of the fairway, and he's taken advantage of it. Good shot. A wee bit unlucky that the ball didn't stop a little bit more quickly than that, but of course he was playing a long iron in. Wayne Riley in typically aggressive pose. And that was a great second shot he played there, turning the club face over to create the hook shot. He walks like he means business, doesn't he? Diego Borrego, Spaniard. .67, 71, 70 his first 3 rounds from Malaga, 23 years of age. 4th season on tour for him. So here's the first that has caused a few problems this afternoon. Just a reminder, the final round here at the Aroera Golf Club delayed by ferocious thunderstorms and lashing rain, and it's really quite hard to believe looking at the greens now that a short time ago they were completely flooded. The fairways were in a dreadful state, so obviously reasonable drainage here on this Frank Penning designed course. Tournament leader Wayne Riley. Radar Riley, 12 under par. Another convert to the broom handle. Broom handle putter, the nearest most of these fellas ever get to the housework. But it certainly seems to bring in the housekeeping. Ask Sam Torrance. Now, Riley's been quite vociferous in his condemnation of these greens. As he said earlier in the week, the greens look like the Grand National has just been run on them. Players inclined to exaggerate just a bit. Yeah. A lot of these players leaving their putts short. It might take them a hole or two to get used to the slower pace of the greens. Hagman for the birdie at the second hole. Par 4 second. 2 long par 4s to start here. And that's a fine putt from him, positive putt. And he goes to 7 under par, 5 shots behind the leader, Wayne Riley. Ole Carlson, who demonstrated his grasp of English expletives on the first tee. At least he got the pace right. Martin Gates, who worked very hard over the winter with his coach Dennis Pugh. Hasn't won much recently, just over £1,000 since the St Andrews Open. but he should pick up a decent check today. Might even be the winner's check. Popular ping putter. That was hit with authority. Too much authority. Martin Gates 153rd on the money list. Chance to climb a lot of places today. And this length of putt difficult on these greens, because mentally you're expecting it to bump away. So the idea is to be positive, trust the line and hit it firmly. Mark Davis on the second, having hit a fine tee shot. A wealth of experience and perfect club selection, and a birdie opportunity for Mark. So Riley to save par at the first hole. This would give the rest hope. He missed this one. Didn't take much time over it, and a good putt. Very confident. Now he stays 2 in front, 17 holes to go. This final round delayed by 3 hours due to incessant rain and thunder. 2 shots clear, 1 hole played by Riley and Gates. Gates and Carlson 10 under, Hagman and Davis 7 under, Russell and Kosiris at -6. Tranquil setting here, Aroera course, and this is Ole Carlson. 66 yesterday. Good score. Oh, great shot from Carlson. Tremendous stuff from Lars Gunnar Olaf Ole Carlson, to give him his full title, from Falkenberg in Sweden. Hagman in silhouette, and yes, he'll be looking for somewhere to hide after a putt like that. Not great, didn't read it well. Plenty of Swedes on this leaderboard today. Maybe not quite close enough to make serious impact, apart of course from Ole Carlson. Hagman playing with Miles Tunnicliffe and Jose Rivero. Tunnicliffe for a birdie. Dropped the shot on the first. He's now slipped back to 3 under. Don't think he's exactly delirious with that putt either. 161st on tour to 1994. Regained his card at the 95 school, Miles Tunnicliffe. Best finish, tied 8th in the Lyon Open in 1994, so he's shown he can play pretty well, as he has done this week. But he hasn't made a good start. Costly opening, perhaps. Hagman for his par at the 3rd. Rain causing problems earlier, forcing a postponement. Now putting through shadows is another problem entirely. Finds the left corner. Five shots adrift of the leader, Wayne Riley. Klaus Eriksson led after round 1, but Riley's been in charge ever since. It's Raymond Russell, who's managed to get himself out in 30. That is fantastic golf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 birdies out in this par 71 course. And suddenly, well, the Scots in contention. If he can post a good back nine, he's going to set a fair target here. Moving rapidly up the leaderboard. 6 under after 9, Raymond Russell. Des Smith, 4 under par, slipping after a good start. Paul Way, former Ryder Cup player, making an impact down in 16th with Gary Emerson and Ricky Willison, the 3 Englishmen together. Willison, the former Walker Cup player. Klaus Eriksson, 63 on the first day. And now, sadly for him, he's 3 under par for the tournament. Padraig Harrington doing well. Andrew Coulthard, a fine start to the season he had, losing to Woosnam in the playoff in one of the early tournaments. Woosnam winning back-to-back, of course, to start. David Fearty back on tour, as we know, after 2 years in America. Stephen Bottomley, great finish at the Open Championship at St Andrews. He's level par. Russell Clayton has slipped well back. He was challenging briefly. Stephen Gallagher, nephew of Bernard, former Ryder Cup captain now. And Paul McGinley, who's had a very good start to the season. Hasn't missed a cut. Alexander Checa, 2 over, Volvo Masters winner. And the sun shines in Portugal. Final round of the Portuguese Open Championship at the short but tight Aroeira Golf Club, known as the Wentworth of Lisbon. Carlson to move within 1 shot of the lead. Yeah, the greens, they're not great. A bit like putting over a creme brulee. Pity after that fine approach shot.
Stand still, please.
Mark Davis. Isn't that a beautiful setting? That's a great shot from Davis. And it's a target golf here now with receptive holding greens. Now Riley for a birdie. Played a great second shot into this second hole. Slightly open stance with the broom handle. And that's a great putt from Riley. And after looking like he might drop a shot at the first, he's picked up a birdie and goes to 13 under. Well, it looks like Miles Tunnicliffe. It is indeed 3 under par. Dropping shots. Early doors here. Started 5 under after a great second and third rounds of 66 and 67. This 4th hole, par 3, 178 yards long. Water, short right. And that's a very brave tee shot, especially considering his start into the breeze too. So that will have been a long iron from Tunnicliffe and a splendid shot from him. It looks like Carter playing with Mark Davis in the white, and Carter in a little bit of trouble here on a path and against one of our cables probably, which he can move. No penalty. The ball just lying in the little track left by the cable. Man who enjoyed, if enjoyed is the right word, the discipline provided by 1 year in the South African Infantry National Service. Long courses shouldn't be a problem to a former infantryman, surely. '92nd on the money list last year, 12th tied at the Jersey Open. No top tens as yet, but is expected to have a sparkling career. Not a sparkling recovery, but it can't have been easy from that lie. Little stony shale type path. Look at the 8th hole here at Aroera, the par 3 hole. 209 yards long. Good hole, this one. Again, there's plenty of room left side, bunker on the right. And the pin today, 22 on and 4 in from the right, so the bunker coming into play. This was David Fearty with a birdie putt at the 8th, and right in the middle from the Ulsterman. Back on the European Tour, a 2nd and 4th place finish already this year after misery in America for one reason and another. So Carter after an average recovery shot for a par. Moved across handed on the 6th hole in the 2nd round. He's had 12 birdies since then, so it's worked obviously, but not this time, and a shot slips away. "23 years of age, David Carter. Represents the Handleywood driving range. Jose Caceres practicing his putting stroke on the green there. He had all sorts of trouble at the last hole. Out of the bunker, missed a short putt, bad lie in the bunker it was too. Here's Davis, 8 under par. 1 under for today's round. It really does seem to be a case to a certain extent of hit and hope on the greens. There's quite a bit of deviation on the line, or off the line. We're back at the par 3, 4th hole. Joachim Hagman, 7 under par. Began the day at 6 under. Few birdies here today because of the water on the right hand side. It's also playing into the breeze, which makes it even tougher. I've never had a chance. Hagman taps in, disappointed, as you can see in here. Birdie opportunity missed. Now Carter. Yep. Three under par, Carter. And it's been a bad start for him. He was 6 under on the first tee. Ceres has also dropped back. He's dropped 3 shots, so this 3-ball not playing that well, but that's more like it. That might inspire him to recovery. 5 under now. Jose Rivero, with that deliberate style of his, individualistic mannerisms of the Spaniard. 6 under. Yeah, it's a good putt from Rivero. Six under par, 1 under for today, so he's made a good start. 7 shots though behind Riley, who's moved to 13 under. Gates close to the shrubbery. And a reasonable escape from Gates. Another one of these dogleg holes here at Arroera. Carlson, 10 under par, very much in contention at the par 4 third hole. The wind getting up all the time here. Carlson playing in the final 3-ball with Riley, and that's another excellent shot. He's hit some fine iron shots so far today. A man who's, I have to say, put on a bit of beef in recent seasons. Now Riley is, now his driving hasn't been good. He's missed 2 fairways out of 3 so far. 1 left, 1 right. The wind now buffeting at his trouser legs. And it was another one of these manufactured Severiano Ballesteros-like escape shots, and he's escaped well. And he's hanging on grimly, Riley. He has not hit the ball consistently well in these opening 3 holes, off the tee, certainly. And it's off the tee that you have to hit the ball well here, because it is a very, very, very tight course. But he's leading by 3 shots, despite the criticism. Ole Carlson, 10 under. Martin Gates, the Englishman, 10 under par. Mark Davis, 8 under. And the rest playing catch up at the moment. Joachim Hagman, Raymond Russell, who's played 9 holes, and Jose Rivero at 6 under. Join us in a couple of minutes. Welcome back live to the Portuguese Open, the final round. Wayne Riley, the leader, 13 under par. He's now 2 shots clear, because while you were away, Martin Gates holed that putt from off the green. It must have been 50 feet right in the middle, and he's gone to 11 under. Now Riley, after that recovery shot, looks like he's going to save his par, as he did on the first. Very rarely looks happy on the golf course, Wayne Riley. Certainly in the early years, he was a lot happier off it. Pedro Linhart at the 8th. Par 3, 209 yards long. Good hole this. And a fine tee shot from Linhart. He's dropped away back now to level par. 3 over for the day. Here's Ole Carlson, who's level for his round. 3 shots behind the man he's playing with, Wayne Riley, who's leading. And 1 shot behind Gates, who makes up the 3-ball. Some great iron shots he's hit today. These first 3 holes. That was not a good putt. So far, the players seem to be finding it easier to hold from off the green than on it. We've seen a few tramliners going in. So Carlson for a par. Yep. Another another man whose career has been curtailed by a car crash on an icy Stockholm motorway in 1994. That's the reborn Riley. Parring and getting away with a par for the second time in 3 holes, although must give him praise for his pars of recovery. Sunshine has followed the monsoon of earlier today here at Aroera, delaying the start of the final round by several hours. But now we have fine conditions, if breezy, and the breeze is strengthening by the moment. Davis, oh, that's a good putt. Oof. Mark Davis having a bit of a charge. Oh, what a great bunker shot by Alexander Cheka, who won the Volvo Masters last year. Obviously left his razor in Germany. It's a par 3 fourth, and that's the final group. David Carter, 4 a par, 3 under par, stays that way. We've seen quite a bit of this par 3 fourth so far. There's the water, maybe not quite tight enough to the green to worry these players, but the pin is tucked in behind the water's edge today. A little bit further right to where that pin is. Most of the players aiming for the left side. It's been well battered, the left half of the green. Riley removing probably pine needles from his spikes. He's been amongst them often enough so far. Martin Gates, who hold that outrageous putt at the 3rd, has the honour. Good swing he has too, and a good result. Fine percentage tee shot. Barry Lane, who was out in 32, if you were watching us earlier, we reported that, and he started back well too. Birdie, birdie, par. He dropped a shot at the first, sadly, but 5 under for his round today. Wayne Riley has parred this hole on each day so far. You can hear the wind buffeting the microphones around the course now, and that's an indication of the strength, the gaining strength. Oh, that's a little Clint Eastwood-like stare at the caddy there, as if to say, why did you give me that club? Style all his own, Wayne Riley. But 3 scores under 70 in this tournament so far. 65, 67, 69. Carlson has also done that. 68, 69, 66. Has been under the microscope of David Ledbetter in his time. Ooh, a little bit of body language there, indicating where the ball was going, but it's a very good tee shot and leaves him an uphill putt for a 2. £43,000 that swing has made for Carlson so far this season. 2-shot lead for Wayne Riley in this rain-delayed, thunderstorm-delayed final round of the Portuguese Open. Martin Gates of England in 2nd place, 2 shots adrift. Carlson very much in touch, and you feel at the moment that the winner of this tournament is probably going to come from that final 3-ball. Top 3 players playing together. Raymond Russell of Scotland has had a very good front 9. Cassini is dropping back today. Thomas Eriksson in the Technicolor top to the left there. This is Jamie Spence. Didn't sound as if he liked that one too much. Yeah, he's pulled it away left. But no trouble. I think this course could do with a few more bunkers around the greens. Seems to be a reasonable margin for error. The par 3 4th hole. 15 holes to play for the final 3-ball. Riley the leader. Martin Gates and Ole Carlson. A long birdie putt for Wayne Riley. And a 1 under for today, Wayne Riley, which is hard to believe when you remember the tee shots he hit at the 1st and 3rd. Both finding trouble. So at least a club too much here at the 4th for Wayne Riley. Which is why the caddy got the icy glare back in the tee. See, it's never the player's fault when things go wrong. It's always the caddy. Well, there's a good roll on that putt. Held its line pretty well. But far too much roll. Jay Townsend for the United States at the 8th hole, this difficult par 3, 209 yards long.
I'll let it go in.
It's a good thump with the long iron. And he's pushed that a little bit right, well right in fact, and an awkward chip because the pin is only 4 on from the right edge. Martin Gates holding 2nd position. This to move within a shot of the leader, and Riley is by no means certain of a par here. He'll have to settle for a par though. 5th in the Scottish Open, his best ever display. Martin Gates hasn't won a European Tour event. Already had 3 first-time winners on the tour this season. That, of course, always serves to encourage the others to emulate. That's a fine pitch shot, a fine recovery indeed there from Townsend, Jay Townsend of the United States after that errant tee shot. Three under par, 2 bogeys, 1 birdie today. Birdie at the 6th hole, a 351-yard par 4. Meanwhile, back at the 4th, it's Wayne Riley for a par to retain the 2-stroke advantage over Martin Gates. It is uphill, so he can be firm. You can see now that the wind really is beginning to gust quite fiercely here. And probably that upset the concentration of the Australian. Yeah, that's a good putt. He's holed out well. 13 under, leader by 2. There you are, confirmation. And he's playing like a man who might win, because he hasn't let the occasional poor shot upset him. That was a recording of Carlson's putt for a birdie. Claes Eriksson. King of Diamonds outfit today. Was very much king on the first day. Course record it was, 63, 8 under par, £3,000 he wins for that, unless of course someone beats it today. The Johnny Walker Award, awarded at every tournament, and shared if somebody else matches that 63. But in this this win, that looks unlikely this afternoon, perhaps. Eriksson playing with Jay Townsend and Jamie Spence. Jamie Spence for a par after pulling his tee shot. Has been under the spell of hypnotist Fred Traxler in recent times, and coach Dennis Sheehy says he was scatterbrained in the past and now he's focused. Yeah, that's a good putt. Spence won the European Masters in 1992 with a final round of 60 at Grand-sur-Cher, the thin air of the Alps. Beautiful blue sky now here. It was black this morning, and it certainly thundered down rain here, and the course was like a swimming pool. Hagman. 8 under par, playing the 6th hole. 351 yards long, par 4. Getting a lot of action there. Too much for his liking. Now Townsend, he almost hold that little pitch there. The Michigan-born, 1 over for his round today. And stays 1 over. And 3 under in total. Townsend, who was tied 3rd at the European Open last year, the very tough K Club. One of the first smiles of the day too. It's a serious game though. A lot of money at stake. £54,000 for the winner, Jose Rivero. He's left a couple of iron approach shots, a wee bit short today. Downwind that one. But just to remind you, it is pretty hard to judge here now in this wind with the height of the trees. That's the 6th hole we're looking at. 351, another dogleg feature of this course. Not a fairway bunker in sight on this 900-acre estate. As you can see, it's covered almost entirely in those pine trees away on the horizon. Water left, doesn't really affect these players though. Well, that's a good putt. Excellent pace. Good long putter is Rivero. Ericsson for his 3 at the 8th. This long par 3. That's a good putt. A lot of putts hold today. Hagman's birdie putt after a second shot that must have spun back 15 or 20 feet. The greens will be drying out all the time in this brisk breeze. Despite the amount of rain that has fallen here, the course does drain well. Really it is hard to believe that the course was, well, it looked as if it was under about ½ an inch of water. It was like the Everglades. And a good putt from Hagman. Stone dead. I'm not saying there's pine trees in the Everglades, by the way, in case you're about to phone in. Jean Van de Velde. 5 under par. Players having a few problems with this 8th hole. Looked like good balance, but he's looking down at his feet. Sure sign that he's not 100% happy. Playing partners Greg Chalmers and Des Smith have found the putting surface. It looks like Michael Jonsson from this angle. Yeah, it is indeed 1 under par for a birdie. That's quite a quick putt down the hill there from Jonsson. 72, 72, 65, 4 under par at the start of play today. The 23-year-old Swede. Just his 2nd year on tour, 36th last season, so that was a representative fine start to his career in Europe. Tied 2nd in the Dutch Open. Miles Tunnicliffe has pulled one back. He's 4 under par now with another chance for a birdie. No, he hasn't hit that. It was right on line. Frustrating. for the Englishman. Borrego playing with Jonsson, and he'll know exactly how quick this putt is now. Will no doubt have gone to school on Jonsson's putt. Big break on that. Former Italian and Spanish amateur champion. Won them both in 1991, Borrego, the Spaniard. Neil Briggs completes the 3-ball. Mark Davis, 7 under par at the par 4 6th. Live coverage of the final round of the Portuguese Open here on Eurosport, and a super shot from Davis there. 10th season in Europe, very experienced now, and a proven winner on 2 occasions. The Austrian Open twice he's won. Now Briggs at the 7th. That's what's called over borrowing. Now Van de Velde at the par 3 8th. Not a great tee shot from him, but a straightforward up and down this should be. Plenty of green, no problems ahead. That sounded heavy. It certainly was. Cliff is not happy with that. Yeah, he's let it go well right. But as so often happens on this course, it's found a gap between the pine trees. They are spread out quite well. Gives you a chance if you clattered into the trees, you see. Here's Carter. He's amongst the timber as well, and lucky enough to finish short of that scrubland. And that is a quite exceptional recovery shot from David Carter. There's the 6th. Slight dog leg this is. There's water left and the bunker, but the water not really coming into play. These players are too good. They should be to find that. Jose Caceres, 4 under par. And a fair pitch shot from him. So Wayne Riley still 2 shots clear of the field. Martin Gates hanging on grimly, impressively to 2nd place, and Ole Carlson in 3rd. Those 3 players playing together join us again live in a moment. Yes, they could have held the fun boarding here earlier this morning because the course was saturated, covered in water. The Portuguese Open live, the final round from the Araújo Golf Club. And David Carter, after a very good recovery from the bushland to the right of this fairway, tweaks one. And drops to 3 under par. 10 shots off the lead. Jose Rivero. A lot of club players at home will be quietly chuckling to see these great players in so many difficult situations. But really it's more of a reflection as to how tight this course is. Narrow fairways and nowhere to hide. Lo Rivero's doing a fairly good job of it at the moment. Jose Caceres for a birdie at the 6th. This hole playing pretty short today. Wind behind. Oh. From a family of 10 children, Jose Caceres. Three of his brothers are also professional golfers. Joachim Hagman at 7. 8 under par, not out of it yet, but would need to make a move pretty soon. That's a good shot, but we know, having watched her earlier action, that is a fairly quick left or right downhill putt. Mark Davis on the 7th tee, 7th hole, 414 yards long. Looks a very well balanced player, Mark Davis. Now Van de Velde, this is for a bogey 4. He really played a very poor little pitch shot from the edge of the green and paid the penalty of 1 shot, a bogey. Carter. And this time he finds the fairway. That's a good drive down the right side here. Now Caceres, totally self-taught. Could you teach yourself to play like this? Good tee shot from Caceres. Caceres, Davis and Carter move away. There we are, no instruction necessary. Caceres gets the weight really well back on the right side on the backswing, clearing the left side. Twice a Dunhill Cup player and a World Cup player as well for Argentina. Another dog leg at Aroera. 6,661 yards long. Front 9 slightly longer than the back 9. A lot of these holes suiting a player who fades the ball off the tee. And there, if you do get a good tee shot away, it's a fairly straightforward approach. Ferro with that rather stiff upright style of his at the 7th. Yeah, it's another very good long putt from Rivera. His long distance putting has been quite exceptional today. Shouldn't be any problem to him. Tap that one in. 4 apart. Martin Gates, and he's found the trees as well. Second shot to the 6th, 2 shots behind Wayne Riley. It looks like he's got something to work with there in terms of a gap ahead of him, and it's not a long shot in. Safety first from Gates, and playing for a par. Ericsson 4 under par now at the 9th, par 5 9th, 510 yards it is, and that's a I thought that was going to drop in there. Good putt from Ericsson, and a touch unlucky. So the colourful Swede reaches the turn. Hagman a couple of holes behind for a birdie. 4th place, sharing it with Mark Davis currently. Rivero Lane, Raymond Russell, the Scotsman, in a great front 9 today. Emerson, Gary Emerson that is, and Claes Eriksson. Short course, but not that many players under par, and no one really taking this course apart, despite its lack of length and generous greens. Generous greens they may be, but not smooth ones. Has obviously affected the scoring. Hagman, it is a quick putt. Ah, that's a great putt from Hagman. Oh yeah, just at the right time for it too. Could be the beginning of a little bit of a charge from Hagman, and he appreciates the importance of it. 4 shots behind Riley now. What a magnificently judged putt that was. Hard to emphasize really just how difficult it was to get the pace of this right. Very quick putt. Big break from left to right. Exquisite. Riley, left edge of the fairway at the 6th. Short par 4. Helping breeze, no more than a wedge in there probably. Downwind. Now Van de Velde didn't show any emotion, but I'm sure he was displeased with his bogey at the 8th. And now the par 5, 9th, going for the green. And that is a very good shot from Van de Velde. Needed just a little bit of a hop forward there, and it was right on line. Carlson at the 6th. Good shape. Yeah, he wanted that one to bite, and it did, and that's a good second shot from Carlson. Only member of this 3-ball to threaten the flag. Leading triumvirate, 13 under Riley. Gates 2 shots behind, and Carlson 3 adrift now, but Hagman making inroads with that excellent birdie putt. We'll be back for more live action in just a tick. Back to Eurosport's live coverage of the final round of the Portuguese Open at Aroeira. This is Neil Briggs. This tournament played at Estoril in the past for many years, in fact, from 1953 to 1972. Penina, Quinta da Logo, Villa Moura, Villa Sol, Penalonga as well. Great holiday venues, of course. And maybe you might think of trying this course the next time you're here for a bit of variety. Aroeira, the Wentworth of Lisbon, just 15 kilometers from the city. And it's here that Wayne Riley is leading the Portuguese Open. Ole Carlson holding 3rd spot at the moment. And that's a fine putt, and that's a birdie for Carlson. Now just 2 behind Riley. Playing with him. So Gates also at 11 under with Carlson now. That's Diego Barriga of Spain, 4 under par. Playing a few holes ahead of the leaders. Van de Velde at the 9th, par 5, his 3rd shot. And on the 8th, he played an horrendous little pitch shot from just short of the green. He had nothing to clear, go over, or to interfere with him whatsoever. And he basically duffed it. They want to make up for that. And Hagman. That was at the par 3/8. Pulled it left of the green. Now Gates at the 7th, and he's hooked that one. And he looks like he's found the gap between two trees there, rather fortunately. Van de Velde, much better pitch this time, and that should set him up for a birdie at the 9th. Wayne Riley, 2 shots ahead of Gates and Ericsson, and he gave that one everything. That's a good drive, better drive. Joint second. No, that's okay. No problem. Left side of the fairway, just in the light rough. Avoiding the trees is the key here. Those bunkers are not a worry at all off the tee because there aren't any on the fairways or just off them. Coceres with a putt at the 7th. That quick putt downhill, the one that Hagman holed from a similar position. Remains 4 under par, 9 shots behind Riley. Avero. No, he doesn't like that one. Body language, the giveaway, and he, like so many players at this 8th hole, has pulled it away left. Mark Davis for a par at the 7th. That's a good putt. Oh, yes. And that's a sort of putt that lifts a player's spirits. Long par putts. You sort of think, well, I've got away with it there. Maybe things will now start to improve. Barry Lane is having a great round of golf. He's 8 under par now after 15. Cutting his way through the field. And Mark Davis there, and just hold that putt to stay 8 under par. Barry Lane, by the way, is 7 under par for his round today. This Des Smith, another convert to the broom handle style, which is supposed to help him mainly with putts of around this length and shorter. He's missed a couple that length today. He's missed them comfortably too. Birdied the first hole, but it hasn't gone well for him since, really. Couldn't maintain the momentum. Jan van de Velde for a birdie. At the 9th. Yep, makes up for that drop shot at the 8th. 5 under par, Van de Velde now. One under for the front 9 for Van de Velde. Started the day at 4 under par. Now, who's this? That looks like a particularly nasty spot. No, it's Martin Gates, and well, he's going to feel unfortunate there. He thought he'd found a convenient little gap between 2 sets of trees, and he's found the most irritating little stump you're ever likely to meet. But it's Carlson to play first. A much healthier position. Wind, I think, is getting stronger and stronger. Just missing the green left, but in no serious trouble. And there's nothing Gates could do there but chip the ball out sideways. And that was a bad break for him, a poor break. I suppose if perfectionists will say he shouldn't have missed the fairway in the first place, but well, how costly will that be? Here's Wayne Riley from perfect position. Wants to keep the ball below the hole here. And that's a good shot, but he's left with that almost identical putt to the one holed by Joachim Hagman. Yeah, it was impossible to play that shot without hitting that protruding lump of wood. And now he's got his work cut out to make par at the 7th. One of the most difficult greens on the course. That's a good shot. He may well save par. That's an uphill putt. Coming towards the end of our coverage this afternoon. We will be back though. I'll give you more details of that very shortly. Due to the delayed final round here, Hagman's putt there were ferocious thunderstorms this morning. Floods of water covered the course. The green staff did a remarkable job to get play underway at all. The weather has brightened up since then, as you can see. Rivero's putt after his pulled or overdrawn tee shot, but he makes 3 at the par 3 8th hole. Six shots behind the leader, Wayne Riley, who is approaching the end of the front 9. And a fair crowd following the final 3 ball here southwest of Lisbon. This impressive 900-acre estate of pine forest and Arroera golf course is cut out of the middle of it. Designed by Frank Penning, the Englishman. 40th Portuguese Open in the 25th year of the European Tour. Anniversaries all round. Carlsen for a birdie at the 7th. Bit of movement in the crowd behind him as they look for the perfect vantage point, and slightly misjudged by Carlsen. May have caught it a fraction heavy, but he will have been aware that it is very quick down that green. Wind whistling through the trees here. There's plenty of them. Hagman, and he taps in. Pars the 8th after the birdie at the 7th, and he is a contender. Now back to the leaders. Wayne Riley has a 63 at Wentworth to his name. 1991 that was. So he knows how to score well round tree-lined courses. The Wentworth of Lisbon, as I've said, this is known as. So he likes Wentworths, whether major or minor. Quick putt this is. as we've seen a couple of times. And that's a very good putt indeed. I think he thought it was in. Hasn't shown much emotion today. Wayne Riley showed it there. You know, he has given the evil eye to the caddy once or twice. Wayne Riley, who said that the first 8 years on tour were one long party. Yeah, he takes his golf a lot more seriously now. It's paying off for him too. Now Gates, unfortunate off the tee, and this is for a par to keep the momentum going. Wasn't a bad putt. It was uphill. He could wrap it, but he's dropped a shot. Martin Gates back to 10 under. That's where he started. Great 65 yesterday he had, but he's 3 behind Riley now. Ole Carlson for a par at the 7th. Gates already bogeyed, so this could be an important hole for Wayne Riley in the greater scheme of things. And this is to stay within 2 of the Australian. Ooh, sneaky. David Carter. He really has seen a bit of the wilderness today. And that's a much better shot from him. Great tee shot. That's the best tee shot we've seen at this hole. Par 3 8th. So Wayne Riley still 2 shots clear. 13 under par after 7 holes. Ole Carlson in 2nd place, Martin Gates in 3rd, 3 shots behind. Joachim Hagman still very much in touch. Good round by Barry Lane so far. And that's the 4th hole here at Aroeira, Portuguese Open. We'll be back with you. 1820 CET, that's 5:20 back in Britain. We'll be planning to bring you live coverage of the closing stages. Coming next on Eurosport, fun boarding. And I look forward to your company in a very short space of time here live. Final round of the Portuguese Open on Eurosport. Yes, welcome back to the final round of the Portuguese Open Championship, coming to you from the Aroeira Golf Course, 15 kilometres southwest of Lisbon. Sorry about the gap in the transmission. Quite simple reason for that. Thunderstorms this morning delayed the start by 3 hours, but we are back live now to bring you the closing stages of this championship. And this is Martin Gates, who's still in with a chance of winning this tournament. He's 3 shots behind. They're playing the 15th par 5. And a great bunker shot by Gates. Well, my goodness, this tournament maybe not over yet. Difficult shot it was too. Playing back towards the water at this dog leg par 5. Perfectly executed bunker shot. The sand has dried out in the last couple of hours. It was very wet and compact earlier. but it's retained a bit of its granular texture now, and that helped Gates. Great tournament for this man, Miles Tunnicliffe, 7 under par. Wayne Riley still leads this tournament, the Australian, 14 under par. Barry Lane, by the way, as Martin Gates taps in for a birdie 4, and he's 12 under par now, just 2 shots behind Riley, and Gates has never won a European Tour event. Just to let you know that Barry Lane came in with a tremendous 63, equaling the best of the week, and that moved him up to 9 under par. He leads in the clubhouse. Riley 14 under after 14, Gates 12 under, and Mark Davis 11 under par. Ole Carlson, I'm afraid, has dropped right off the leaderboard. He had a double bogey around the turn, and that cost him his chance. So here's Riley. How will he react to that birdie from Gates? This is also for a 4 at the 15th. And I tell you what, that is not dead, especially on these greens. Saying here this week that the only good greens at this course are the ones you get in the clubhouse restaurant. Perhaps slightly cruel, but not too far from the mark. Joachim Hagman, he's 9 under par. He's played well today. Hold a couple of very good putts of that length. He's been unlucky with a couple as well. The story of this final round, Riley looked as if he had made the tournament his when he eagled the 9th, the par 5 9th, and then birdied the par 5 10th as well. Now at that stage he led by 4 shots with just 8 holes to play. This is Jose Rivero. It's not that quick, Jose. Now Riley made a great up and down to the 13th for a par, and he holed a good par putt at the par 3 14th of about that length, and he's done the same at 15 to maintain that 2-shot lead. That's the 3rd member of the final 3-ball, Ole Carlson, who was in contention until the 11th. He started at 10 under today. He's dropped 3 shots on the round. Here's Tunnicliffe. Ooh. Had to listen for that one. But he's at a good tournament. The man from Leamington Spa, 25-year-old. His best finish is a tie for 8th. He'll have learned a lot today. Great experience for him. Hagman taking plenty of time. Put himself in touch with the leaders earlier on with a great birdie putt at the 7th. It really was a splendid effort. Downhill left to right, very fast. But he's not going to win now. Holes fast running out, and Riley has held on very well. He's looked a little bit twitchy in the last few holes, but he has holed crucial putts. Well, there we are, Wayne Riley and Martin Gates neck and neck. Mark Davis 11 under par. He's still got a chance. 3 shots back. And Barry Lane in the clubhouse, 9 under par. Superb 63 today. He takes a share of the £3,000 prize for a course record. Claes Ericsson shooting 63 on day 1. David Carter. He's 3 under par now. Slipped back, dropped 3 shots on his round today. It's been a scruffy sort of a round from him. Jose Caceres missed a very short putt at the last hole, but he shouldn't miss that one. That's a fine approach from the Argentinian. It was all grimaces and snarls a few moments ago. Now the smiles have returned. Third last year in this tournament in Portugal, Portuguese Open. Final round of the second European Tour event to actually be played in Europe. Looking back up the dogleg 15th, par 5. Well, here's Mark Davis, one of 3 players who can still win this tournament. And that's an excellent shot from him too. So it's going to be either an Englishman or an Australian who's going to take this Portuguese Open title. And the first prize of £54,160, 36,100 for second place. Some significant difference there of £18,000. 16th, par 3, final par 3 on the course, 158 yards long it is, and fairly straightforward. The 14th on this course is the best par 3, I think, certainly the most picturesque, over water, surrounded in trees. And here's Gates, 12 under par. Good shot, just needed an ounce more. The wind behind him, difficult to judge. And it's been a gusty sort of a day, and he looks up. Yeah, it's not quite sure what the ball's going to do when it climbs above the trees. So difficult to work out exactly what the wind is going to do to it. I tell you what, Martin Gates does know that he has a chance, possibly, if things go his way in the last 3 holes, of winning his first European Tour event. Something that Riley has done before. He's won 3 Opens, the New Zealand, the Australian and the Scottish. So he knows what it takes to win, and one of the things it takes is concentration, and wise enough to step away when distracted. Good rhythm. Oh, and he's over clubbed again. That might be a little surge of adrenaline or a genuine error in club selection. Discussion will no doubt take place with the caddy, who is making his excuses. 17th, another dog leg left this time. A lot of dog legs veering right on this course, suiting the fader of the ball. Position crucial. And once you get to the apex, it's fairly straightforward from there in. Mark Davis for a birdie. Well, if this is for a birdie, he must have hit an awesome tee shot. Withdraw around the corner, because he wasn't hitting much in. It looked like a wedge. Well, that's a good putt. Very solid, nerveless Mark Davis over that one, and he goes to 12 under, 2 behind Riley. So a tournament that looked over after 10 holes of this final round. Riley steaming forward, 4 shots clear, and it's in the balance again now, though. Series, same line, a little bit shorter to go 8 under. Yeah. He's looking forward to getting home. I think he's going to run there. It's a long way to Argentina. He's been on tour a long time. Asco Series wants to get back to the family for a break. Your tournament leader, Wayne Riley, through the green at 16. And that had to be delicate. Oh. And I thought it had gone in. It was, thank you very much. But as it is, he's left with another testing putt. He has holed out very well, though, to be fair to him, over the last 6 or 7 holes. Now, if Gates could put this one in, the tournament takes a completely different complexion. For a birdie 2 at 16. Not bad, but not great, and he's disappointed. He certainly didn't want to leave himself anything other than a tap in if he did miss, and the putt he's left is missable on these greens. Carlson. That's a good shot. It was on tip. Big putt for Riley. No. A very tight finish looms. 1 shot ahead now, Riley. It's been a really topsy-turvy tournament for Riley. He led by 7 shots after 45 holes. 4 after 64, and now after 70, it's just the 1, and that is assuming that Gates holds after Carlson here. Oof. Well, a lot of help, Martin Gates. And that seemed to break. He pushed it, but it seemed to break a little bit to the right as well. Inner fury for Carlson, who's let things slip quite badly on the back 9. They're all important putts at this stage, but he has to hold this one to maintain a realistic chance of winning the Portuguese Open, thanks to Riley's mistake. dear, dear, dear. And this one isn't in either. Well, that was a nervy putt indeed. And well, even watching Carlson's putt might have caused him mental anguish. At least to regroup now and make sure he gets this one in. And disappointment as Gates drops a shot and goes back to 11 under par. Now here's Hagman finishing off at 18, 9 under par. Barry Lane already in on 9 under. And that's a fine shot. We've seen some great approach shots to this 18th hole. 363 metres, or in old money, 400 yards. One of the few straight par 4s or par 5s on this course. Dog legs, very popular with the designer, Frank Pennick. And to be honest, it's a pretty straightforward finish all round. Pin today at 18 is 13 on, 4 right. Here's Davis on the tee. Tee peg picked up quickly. Sure sign that a fairway has been hit. So there we are, refresh your memory. Look at that leaderboard again. 13 under par is Wayne Riley. 12 under Mark Davis. After that birdie at 17, he's just 1 shot back now. And Gates, 11 under. Further down the leaderboard, John van de Velde in on 7 under. Good tournament for Marcus Wills of Wales. Ricky Willison, he's had a couple of good tournaments this year. Sun City played particularly well. Russell Clayton was in contention earlier in the week. He slipped back a bit. Stephen Bottomley, great performance at the Open, 3 under. David Fearty, 2 under par. 2nd and 4th already this year on tour. Returned to the European Tour. Stuart Cage lost in a playoff in the Irish Open last year. And Mark Rose had his problems. He's finished 72 holes. Checa, 3 tournament wins last year, finishing 1 under. Andrew Coulthard, good start to the season. A few drop shots late on from Padraig Harrington, the Walker Cup player, former Walker Cup player. Paul McGinley, steady season. I think he's made every cut so far this term. 8 starts, I think it is. Blue skies now, replacing the thunder claps of earlier on today, when we were almost submerged here. Hard to believe now, looking at this idyllic setting near Lisbon. Rivero for a par at the 18th to finish 8 under, which he does. .68, good round in windy conditions. 4 birdies, and Hagman for his par. Good tournament for Hagman, who joins Barry Lane at 9 under, also a 68 today. David Carter in the penultimate 3 ball, playing with Caceres and Mark Davis. Another great learning experience this today for Carter, who won the qualifying school in '94 comfortably. Currently 67th on the money list. Almost £11,000 plus what he wins today. And looking for a top 10 finish is Jose Coceres. Turned pro to provide financial support for his 10 brothers and sisters after his father was killed in a car crash. '94 Catalonian Open champion. And the wrong club if he hit it well. And the look on his face suggests that was the wrong club, wasn't it? Aye, Mark Davis. Big shot to this final green. One shot behind Riley. 72nd. Doesn't seem too happy with it. Oh, and that could be the chance gone for Davis. He really had to find the dance floor there. He found the beach instead. Martin Gates. Got 17. 3 putted the last. That could be crucial. And that's a fine shot by Gates. Fine response. Now, our confirmation that the course record, this tournament has not been played on this course before, Arrow Era, so it's a new course record. 63, 8 under par. Class Ericsson in round 1, Barry Lane today, and they share the £3,000, the Johnny Walker course record award. Carlson, this is third shot. Clearly in trouble off the tee. An untidy final round from Carlson. He's 4 over today. And looks like going to 5. But he is not a main player in the action now. This man most certainly is. Wayne Riley, tournament leader, 13 under par. Oh, it's a great shot from Riley. Excellent shot. And just a little bit too much action. Yeah, could have finished a lot closer. Too much grip. Very experienced player now, Wayne Riley, 11 seasons on tour. It's the Volvo ranking, as it's now called, after the Dubai Desert Classic, which Colin Montgomery won. What a fabulous second shot he hit to the closing hole there. A driver, 222 yards to carry the water, and he knocked it into 15 feet. Wayne Westner, great start to the season for him too, with the win in his home country. Andrew Coulthard losing a playoff to Ian Woosnam. McNulty winning as well. Sun City, Paul McGinley. Fine start for the Irishman. Hedblom winning his first tournament of the season. First tournament of his career, in fact, in Europe, as did Sven Struver. And Coceres handily placed in 10th spot, going home now for a bit of a rest. A lot of those top players missing this tournament. Some of them beginning their preparations for the Masters. It's been a fresh afternoon in Portugal. after a much less than fresh morning. Miserable start to the day. Rain, rain and more rain, and we almost didn't have a final round of this tournament. And the weather much more Portuguese. Certainly what we'd expect, what we're used to seeing in the travel grocers anyway. Closing stages of the Portuguese Open, and Mark Davis on the 18th. 12 under par, one behind Riley, and that is the end of his chance, I would imagine. Unless he holds that and Riley does something ridiculous in the last 2 holes, we can rule Davis out of the equation. Because he looks likely now to drop a shot, and Riley is this for a birdie. That's 17. He's put a good stroke on it. Oh. A few expletives in Australian emanating. I'm not sure whether it was Riley or the caddy there, but the point was made. Series at the final hole. And the fringe just took the sting out of it, and that's a fine shot from Series, and he'll finish with a par 4 at the last, and an 8 under total. Martin Gates for a birdie, and this has to go in if Gates is to give himself any chance of a maiden European Tour success. Breaks a little bit from left to right. But not that much. But it's a par 4 for Martin Gates. Stays 11 under par, 2 behind Riley to tap in for his 4, and unless Davis chips in, he's going to take a 2-shot lead down the 72nd. Comfortably done. And Riley's been very much in the driving seat in this tournament for a couple of rounds now. Davis must knock this one in to keep the pressure on Wayne Riley. No, and he might struggle to bogey the hole too, and that's going to be costly for him if he doesn't hold that putt. Desperately disappointing finish for Mark Davis. That was on tape, and this is for the bogey. Yeah, well done. Bravely holed. Finishes though with a 5. Manages a smile, but he knows that he had an opportunity. Great round though. 67 back in 33. Just leaving a slightly bad taste in the mouth, that bogey at the final hole. And here's the 18th again. That's what Riley has left between him and the Portuguese Open title. 400 yards exactly. And nothing to get too concerned about with a 2-stroke lead. Although Davis managed to bogey it, and Gates could birdie it. Bit of golf to be played yet. It's all down to Riley. If he pars the last hole, it's hard to see how Gates can catch him, unless of course he holds his second shot. but it's Gates with the honour. Birdied this hole yesterday to round off a great round of 65 and needs a birdie today. Of course, he'll be mightily pleased with his performance in this tournament. His best performance ever was third in the Volvo Open de Firenze in 1992. He was fourth in the Jersey Open of 93. But he's a chance here to do even better than that. Par will leave him joint second. Yeah, good shot from Gates. Kept his rhythm, his concentration, stayed still, and that's a fine closing drive indeed. Now, Wayne Riley. One hole to play, 2 shots clear. The reformed Australian. And cries of drive, and that's an excellent shot. Tweedledum and Tweedledee on the final fairway. Ole Carlson. And he's hooked it. He's been left and right. A bit like the Red Arrows display team today is Ole Carlson. All he needed was a couple of smoke canisters fitted to the ball to complete the effect. There we are, Riley, 13 under par. Began today 12 under, 1 under for the day. That's a good performance from a man who began in front. Mark Davis, 11 under par, dropping that shot, unfortunately for him, at the 18th hole, finding sand, wet sand, and failing to get up and down. And Martin Gates, the only man left with a chance of catching Riley, of course. 11 under par. But must birdie this hole to put any pressure on the Australian. Great 63 from Barry Lane today. Joachim Hagman sharing 4th place. Miles Tunnicliffe and Marcus Wills, credit to them. Inexperienced players doing well. Des Smith, been around for over 20 years. Another good tournament for him. Raymond Russell had a great front 9 today, but then dropped back a little bit on the back 9. At one point he was 6 under par. Spaniards Linhart and Borrega sharing 21st place. Peter Mitchell of England, 27th, 2 under par for 72 holes. Couple of Ryder Cup players there, away in Fearty with a Walker Cup player, Cage, Mark Mooland, Greg Chalmers, the left-hander, and David Carter. Disappointing final round for David, finishing 2 under, starting 6 under. Chance there to check in your favourite players. This really is a marvellous setting for a golf course in this wonderful, expansive estate. It's a huge pine forest with a golf course channel through the middle of it. And right in the middle of the forest, not for the first time today, is Ole Carlson. Main protagonists are both in the centre of the fairway. Riley, urgent, businesslike as always. Makes his mind up quickly. So he's drilled that one in fairly low. And he's found the green, importantly, and that's a fine shot from Riley. His first job was to get the ball onto the putting surface, and he's achieved it. And must feel close now to his second European Tour title. The adventures of Ole Carlsen continue. Oh, two. Right into the middle of it, the base of that tree, and he hasn't got very far. Tied for third in the Jersey Open. 4 top 10 finishes last season. Finished 51st on the money list. And he's learned a lot today, I would think. He let a reasonably good winning opportunity slip round the turn. Did him a bad front nine. But really, he was trying to bite off a little bit too much here. Look at that, right into the middle of the tree. And he will now think he should have chipped it out sideways, of course. But how many times have you and I done that, eh? There's Martin Gates. Excellent tournament for him. From Red Hill in Surrey. Studying intently. That's a good shot. Well, they've stayed side by side all the way up this final hole. And Gates will have the chance to putt first. A putt he'll have to hole to prevent Riley from winning this tournament. Meanwhile, back in the woods. This time he's avoided timber and finds sand. And a sad finish to the round for Ole Carlsen. This will be very expensive for him. Wayne Riley, a couple of 100 yards away from winning the Portuguese Open, perhaps. 2 shots clear of Martin Gates on the 72nd fairway at the Aroeira Club, close to Lisbon. Already accepting the applause of the crowd, but deep within his mind, he will know that the job is not over yet. Stranger things have happened. Don't play the wrong ball, for goodness sake. Tied third in the Johnny Walker Classic this year, the one won by Woosnam, one of 2 won by Woosnam. 34th in Dubai last week. So his form has been good this season. 21st on the money list on the Volvo ranking, 35,861, and looks like he might double that and some in a couple of moments. And he deserves it. He's held on grimly to his lead in this final round. He's never lost it. He increased it at one point to 4 shots. He's holed out well, apart from one occasion at 16. Now Carlson's fourth shot, this for a par. What a par this would be. In the trees twice and a bunker. Oh, what a great shot by Carlson. Fantastic shot. And he gets away with a bogey. I don't think he can quite believe it either. After what he's been through at the 18th. And at the back nine, look at that. 41 back for the 77. Now, Gates. Birdie putt. To put the pressure on Riley. Just to turn the screw another notch or two. Has he hit it? Has he hit it? He hasn't hit it. I think in the recesses of the subconscious he was thinking there more about lagging it to make sure he gets a share of second spot, and it's hard to blame him. So difficult to see how Riley can lose the tournament now. A two-shot advantage. He's on the final green in regulation. The old trusty broom handle has helped him sweep to victory in the Portuguese Open. Yes. A little extra pump of adrenaline there he could have done without. Oh, and that's it. And Riley wins the Portuguese Open in great style, parring the last hole, his second European Tour title to follow up the Scottish Open he won last year. An excellent closing round of 69. £54,160 for a delighted Riley. I think that's the first time he smiled all day, and he deserves it. Just reflecting with great satisfaction on a job very, very well done. Now Gates to tie for second. Yeah, well done. Great tournament for Martin Gates too. Really played extremely well and could have won the event if it hadn't been for a little error at the 16th. But Wayne Riley, well, in his wild days, there's a great story of a girlfriend in high heels running onto a green to give him an ice cream during a tournament. I don't think it'll happen this time. More of a quiet man than a wild colonial boy these days, and what a win for him. Wayne Riley, Portuguese Open champion, 1996. So the scenes around the 72nd green here at Aroeira, just outside Lisbon. And there's the champion, Wayne Riley. And he made a conscious decision a few years ago to clean up his act, stop the partying, concentrate on the golf, and it is really paying off for him. So the presentations, all that's left here in Portugal. Next tournament is in Madeira. Madeira Island Open, which begins on Thursday. And there's the Portuguese Open trophy. Famous old trophy it is too. A lot of big names on that. And there's a few of them. Colin Montgomery winning in '89. Stephen Richardson in 1991. Ronan Rafferty from Northern Ireland. Adam Hunter in a playoff, beating Darren Clark last year. Philip Price in 1994. Looking further back in time, Brian Huggett has won this, 1974. Howard Clark, Brian Barnes, Sam Torrance twice. Warren Humphreys, Mark McNulty. 1953, the tournament was first played. Eric Brown, a great match player, winning at Estoril with a total of 260. Peter Alice too, Ken Bousfield, Ramon Soda, great names, great history. Well, that's about it from our live coverage of the Portuguese Open here in Lisbon, outside Lisbon. The next programme in Eurosport, tennis from Key Biscayne in the United States, third round, Pete Sampras in action. And David Mercer and Frew McMillan will be here for that. Well, what a splendid afternoon it's been for Wayne Riley of Australia. His second European Tour victory here at Arrow Era, and a thoroughly, thoroughly deserved victory. Bye-bye.
The PGA European Tour was brought to you by Volvo.